Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS news for Monday, July 20. More than 2,000 persons will be deployed to monitor daycare centers and entertainment events and venues' compliance with the COVID-19 protocols that guide their conditional reopening. It was recently announced that daycare centers, along with water attractions, amusement parks, and a range of small outdoor events, are being allowed to resume operations for an initial period of July 21 to 31. But Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie is reiterating this is strictly contingent on them abiding by the reopening protocols.
Observing the limitations that we place on the number of persons that can be in a venue at any one given time, observing the protocols in terms of the health aspect of it, which is going to be very, very important.
Minister McKenzie says the 2,000 plus community activists will be doing more than just monitoring these establishments and events.
They are going to be making recommendations, and they are going to be a part of that wide core of community-driven activists, if you want to use that word, that will be out there passing on the information that is going to be required.
The local government minister was speaking at the Ministry of Health's recent virtual COVID conversations press briefing. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton has announced that government plans to employ a substantial number of junior doctors who are currently facing challenges in securing jobs in the public health system. This comes after consultations with the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, JMDA, which has reported that just over 100 junior doctors have been unable to secure employment in the public system. Dr. Tufton says the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service has given the go-ahead for the Health Ministry to make additional spaces available where there is a need.
I'm not going to promise 100 plus, but certainly substantial enough to fill some of the gaps that exist, and of course to put some of your members to work in badly needed areas.
He made the announcement during the Health Ministry's most recent weekly virtual COVID Conversations press briefing. During the briefing, Dr. Tufton also assured the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association that his ministry was committed to finding a long-term solution to the challenges being faced by the junior doctors.
Just to note that the longer-term strategy, of course, is revising the entire structure, as we discussed in that meeting, and the CMO has committed before the end of this year to present to your association the new plan for capacity building, and I think that will pave a way for a longer-term, more permanent arrangement.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett has warned that tourism entities that fail to comply with health and safety protocols will be ordered closed. To facilitate the phased reopening of the sector amid COVID-19, the government has established a number of health and safety protocols which must be met by tourism operators prior to opening. Minister Bartlett is asserting that if operators are not COVID-19 compliant, the government is going to shut down their establishments, whether they are big or small. He made the statements on the weekend during a tour of the newly opened South Coast Resilience Corridor. The new corridor was introduced on July 15 and comes after the North Coast Resilience Corridor was introduced in June. As of today, importers applying for permits from the Trade Board Limited must go through the Jamaica Single Window for Trade JSwift facility. JSwift is an electronic platform providing traders and their representatives with fully automated access to the State Border Regulatory Agency's BRAs. This latest move is part of the phased digitization of these state border regulatory agencies. The new arrangement accommodates traders importing commodities such as motor vehicles, white refined sugar for manufacturing or the retail market, bulk cement, milk powder and machinery, among other commodities. The Jamaica Customs Agency is the lead implementing entity of the Jamaica Single Window for Trade. The National Water Commission (NWC) has announced adjustments to its supply times to customers served by the Mona treatment plant, as the worsening drought conditions causes source inflows to continuously decline. As at Friday, July 18, the NWC says the Mona reservoir was at 38.2% of its capacity, and as a result, the daily water supply time has been reduced from 16 to 12 hours. Some customers are likely to experience low pressures and/or no water during the period of restriction, which is from 6 p.m. each evening to 5 a.m. the next morning. Pointing out that the current dry period is now spanning 7 months, the NWC says this new adjustment is necessary to maintain supply at an acceptable level, while at the same time being mindful of its role in the fight against the spread of COVID-19. As the nation goes through this challenging period, the NWC is imploring everyone to adhere to the prohibition order and make conservation a habit instead of the exception. And finally, for the first time in history, the winners of the 2020 Jamaica Gospel Song and Festival Song competitions will be selected by public vote. This has come about due to restrictions presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. This year's top 10 finalists for both competitions have already been released and are currently circulating on local and diaspora airwaves ahead of the grand finals. During her recent sectoral presentation in Parliament, Culture Minister Olivia Grange revealed that numbers to call or text in your vote are displayed on various media platforms.
The songs are on social media, streaming and download platforms. They're on radio and they're on television. We have released the telephone lines for members of the public to vote for their favorites.
The minister is urging the public to listen to the songs and vote for their favorites. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.